In just 3 days, 896 weather warnings blanketed the United States, no joke. That includes 139 tornado warnings and 7 particularly dangerous situation emergencies. And today, May 20th, this exhausted country is getting hit all over again. Y'all, drop your city in the comments. I will personally cover your area tonight. Every location that shows up gets tracked on my personal radar through tonight. Not gonna lie, tracking this setup since sunrise genuinely shook me today. 3 completely different life-threatening weather events are firing simultaneously across America. One corner hit 25 degrees Fahrenheit overnight, that is freeze warning territory. Another corner is sitting under a heat advisory with feels-like temperatures near 100 degrees. Good grief, 25 degrees and 100 degrees on the very same day in America. And a third zone is firing supercells capable of baseball-sized hail across West Texas today. That split only happens when this pattern is wound up way too tight. Let me walk through all 3, starting north where freezing temperatures hit overnight. A freeze warning covers central and northern Minnesota this morning. Northeast North Dakota is also locked under that same warning through 5 a.m. Wednesday. Temperatures bottomed out at 25 degrees Fahrenheit, that is 7 full degrees below freezing. Wait until you hear what this cold does to spring crops already sprouted. Frost and ice formed on exposed surfaces, plant tissue, and outdoor pipes overnight. Earl, in Grand Forks, your area sits right inside that overnight freeze zone. Red River Valley crops are extremely vulnerable to temperatures this low in May. Counties hit include Clay, Roseau, Kitson, Pennington, Red Lake, and Polk in Minnesota. Over in North Dakota, Cavalier, Pembina, Grand Forks, Cass, and Trail are all included. Farmers across this zone need to cover sensitive seedlings and protect outdoor water lines now. Uninsulated pipes can crack and burst when temperatures hold below freezing for 4+ hours. Now, Shiv South Wyoming and Colorado have their own freeze warning tonight, too. Casper, Rollins, Lander, Douglas, and Worland are all under freezing temperatures this evening. Northern Colorado, including Steamboat Springs and Rangeley, are inside that freeze zone as well. Southern Idaho near St. Anthony and Arco is also in this overnight freezing threat area. High terrain amplifies the cold valley floors and low-lying fields get hit the hardest. Dale Simmons near Casper ranchers in your zone need livestock inside before sundown. Now here's where today gets interesting. Keep watching. This next part matters. While the north freezes, the entire northeast is baking under a heat advisory today. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island are all officially included. Heat index values are running between 97 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit across this corridor today. Here's the kicker. This is the very first heat event of the season. Bodies have not adapted to heat yet, which makes 100-degree feels dangerous fast. Boston, Providence, Hartford, Springfield, and Worcester are all baking under that advisory today. Frank Hollister and Philadelphia Berks and Lehigh suburbs are in that advisory zone. Heat stroke risk spikes sharply during the very first heat event each season. Check on elderly neighbors today. They are flat out the most vulnerable group. Drink water constantly and stay in air conditioning between noon and 4 p.m. today. The good news storms pushing through Wednesday evening will break this heat wave fast. That cold front will drop temperatures significantly across the whole Northeast by Thursday morning. Now let me cover the third threat today, the most intense one by far. West Texas is under a slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center this morning. That risk zone covers 30,289 square miles and nearly 454,000 people across this region today. Midland, Odessa, Del Rio, Andrews, and West Odessa are all inside that slight risk corridor. West Texas atmosphere is loaded with explosive instability, plain and simple. MLCAPE values near 2,000 joules per kilogram are forecast near Fort Stockton and Midland today. I kid you not, that energy number produces violent long-tracked supercell storms. Margaret in Abilene, your city, sits right on the edge of this supercell corridor. Wind shear at 50 knots combined with steep lapse rates supports long-lived organized supercells today. Supercells forming near Fort Stockton this afternoon will track north-northwest straight toward Midland. These storms can produce hail exceeding 2 inches in diameter, baseball size or larger. A 2-inch hailstone weighs 14 ounces and falls at 40 miles per hour straight down. That force shatters a car windshield. In under 3 seconds, you cannot outrun it. Margaret, Midland, and Odessa get every vehicle under hard cover before 3 p.m. Good Lord, the Permian Basin oil operations will be triggering emergency protocols during this storm. Outdoor workers across West Texas need to shelter up before these storms fire today. Downburst winds from a collapsing supercell can reach 90 miles per hour locally. I-10 and I-20 through this region could face closures from near zero visibility conditions tonight. What city are you most concerned about today? Drop it in the comments below. Now let me connect all of this to the bigger picture. Context matters here. Look back at May 16th through 18th, 3 brutal days across the Central Plains. That 3-day stretch produced 896 total weather warnings issued across multiple states, 896. 7 of those were PDS tornado emergencies, the absolute highest level of warning that exists. The unit stands for Particularly Dangerous Situation Forecasters Do Not Use Those Words Lightly Ever. 2 full tornado emergencies were also issued, meaning confirmed tornadoes were directly hitting cities. 748 severe warnings and 139 tornado warnings fired in just 72 hours, no joke. Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri absorbed the hardest hits across that entire 3-day stretch. 58 preliminary tornado reports are still being field surveyed. That count could absolutely still rise. Sandra Phelps in Kansas City, your metro is still cleaning up from that outbreak. Before that cleanup is even finished, this relentless pattern is firing again. That is what makes spring 2026 so flat-out exhausting for communities across this entire region. Now, shift to the flood picture. Water is a serious threat in multiple states. A flood watch covers southern Indiana and northern Kentucky through Wednesday morning. That watch officially covers 3 p.m. Tuesday through 6 a.m. Wednesday across these specific counties. Clark, Crawford, Floyd, Harrison, Jefferson, and Washington counties in Indiana are all included. Orange, Perry, Scott, and Dubois counties are also sitting inside that Indiana flood watch zone. Here is what makes this watch especially dangerous. The ground underneath is completely saturated. Areas that already flooded overnight are getting hit with more rainfall stacking on standing water. Carroll Myers and Louisville roads near your river corridors will flood again tonight. Streams across southern Indiana have absolutely zero room left to absorb any additional rainfall. Turn around. Do not drown. That one rule saves more lives than anything else. 2 feet of moving water sweeps a full-size car off the road, good Lord. Now, to Missouri and Kansas City residents genuinely need to hear this. A separate flood watch covers all of western Missouri, including the Kansas City metro area. St. Joseph, Maryville, Clinton, Camdenton, and Nevada, Missouri are all inside that watch zone. Sandra Phelps, the Missouri River near you is running well above normal today. Heavy rainfall on top of already high rivers is a recipe for serious flooding. Anyone in a Kansas City floodplain needs an evacuation plan ready before dark. Now shift down to Texas because San Antonio is getting hammered again tonight, honest to goodness. A special weather statement covers the San Antonio and Austin corridor right now. A storm line pushes east at 30 miles per hour just west of San Marcos tonight. Wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour are embedded in that storm line tonight. Hayes, Bexar, Comal, Guadalupe, Caldwell, and Bastrop counties are all directly in the storm path. Atascosa, Wilson, Carnes, Gonzales, DeWitt, and Fayette counties follow right behind that line. Intense lightning is reported within 10 miles of that storm core tonight. Get inside the moment you hear thunder. Not soon, right now. A separate flood watch covers the entire Houston and Gulf Coast area tonight. Galveston Bay and the Houston-Galveston corridor are watching for flash flooding through Wednesday. That tropical-like moisture surging north is pumping enormous rainfall totals straight into Texas. Gulf Coast spots could see 3 to 4 inches of rain before Wednesday morning. Dale Simmons Houston has seen catastrophic flooding before, and this setup deserves real respect. Nobody is ready for how fast Texas floods go from nuisance to life-threatening. Now look ahead to Wednesday and Thursday. The forecast does not end today. The SPC has placed 49.5 million people under a marginal risk zone for Wednesday afternoon. New York City, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Newark, and Washington, D.C. are all inside that risk zone. That is 194,419 square miles covering the most densely populated corridor in the United States. A cold front moving through the mid-Atlantic Wednesday afternoon will trigger scattered severe storms. Damaging wind gusts and small hail are the main threats for New York Wednesday. Frank Hollister, JFK Newark, and Philadelphia airports will likely see ground delays during storm hours. Wednesday afternoon flight out of the Northeast. Check your airline app early today. Marginal risk sounds mild, but 49.5 million people is still an enormous number. Not going to lie, a marginal storm in Manhattan causes more chaos than enhanced elsewhere. Wednesday evening, that same cold front finally breaks the heat advisory across the entire Northeast. Thursday brings no severe risk areas anywhere across the lower 48, none at all. That is a genuine, honest-to-goodness break, and storm-weary Plains communities desperately need it. Bob Simmons in Memphis Thursday gives your area a quiet day to dry out. Now here is what every watching family needs to understand about back-to-back severe weather events. When 896 warnings fire in 3 days, every response system gets stretched very thin. Emergency managers and first responders are running on fumes right now, mark my words. Your personal preparedness matters most during a prolonged outbreak exactly like this one. Never assume someone warns you in time. Have multiple alert methods active tonight. ANOAA Radio, a weather app, and local TV give you the best coverage possible. Know your safe room and evacuation route before tonight's storms arrive at your door. Heads up, let me give you the full picture on Friday and the weekend ahead. Thursday stays quiet, widely scattered sub-severe storms only across the Rockies and southeast. But Friday, a shortwave pushes out of the Rockies and the pattern reloads again. Oklahoma and Kansas are both watching a small severe weather window open up Friday afternoon. Then heading into the weekend, another system tracks through the Ohio Valley and Appalachians. Saturday and Sunday, Indiana, West Virginia, and western Pennsylvania need to stay heads up. Mark my words, the Memorial Day weekend pattern from May 24th looks genuinely active. A deep Gulf moisture surge will push north starting around May 24th or 25th. That setup, combined with an ejecting Rocky Mountain trough, has every ingredient already in place. Between May 25th and June 2nd, rainfall across Louisiana and Texas could be extraordinary. Ensemble models show a 10-inch mean rainfall signal for parts of the Gulf Coast. Already swollen rivers will have zero recovery time before that next moisture surge arrives. The Arkansas, Red, and Missouri river systems all deserve very close watching ahead. Anyone near a South or Midwest river corridor, do not let your guard down. Let me bring it all home with the full summary of today's update now. Today alone features 3 simultaneous threats almost never seen on a single calendar day. A 25-degree freeze up north, 100-degree heat in the northeast, and supercells firing in Texas. Flood watches are active in Indiana, Kentucky, Missouri, and Texas simultaneously tonight. Wednesday delivers 49.5 million mid-Atlantic residents into a marginal severe weather risk zone. Thursday gives the break we need, but Friday reloads and the weekend stays active. Stay weather aware, keep every alert method active, and have that plan ready before dark tonight. Drop your city below 896 warnings in 3 days, and this is not done. This relentless 2026 spring pattern still has more chapters left to write out there. The next round is building out west when it arrives. Be fully prepared.